Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so very much for tuning in. We have a lot to talk about, and this is a very important segment, primarily because it's going to explain exactly why Democrats will fail yet again. They don't realize they can't touch Trump. They don't realize that every single thing they do, does not materialize. There was no collusion. There wasn't even obstruction. Mueller completely dropped the ball. Hillary Clinton, Madam Cyberhack, the Golden Moo, lost the election like I said she would in 2015. Nothing pans out for Democrats. Absolutely nothing pans out. To my super chat, thank you so very much. You give me every incentive to rock these live streams. They're going to try to impeach Trump, but it's not going to work. Alan Dershowitz has explained in an op-ed, Dershowitz, Supreme Court could overrule an unconstitutional impeachment. This is absolutely fantastic. He ends it with, so no one should express partisan certainty regarding President Trump's suggestion that the Supreme Court might well decide that impeaching a president without evidence of high crimes and misdemeanors is unconstitutional. It is not high crimes and misdemeanors for a team of partisan Democratic Party attorneys. Democrats have convinced themselves that the Mueller team wasn't partisan. They've convinced themselves that James Comey wasn't partisan. They're not only delusional, they're in their own world. Marked 3 Life, thank you. Keep up the great work, HA, thank you. Marked for Life, thank you. Mark 3 Life, thank you. Mark 3 Life, thank you very much. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you. They cannot touch him because when you devote your life, and this is why the original Professor Chaos, they have to impeach him. Exactly. They have to try to impeach him, and then it'll get to the Supreme Court, which will be hilarious because, by the way, the original Professor Chaos, thank you always for your support and kind words and just for being a great presence in the comment section of my channel. Thank you very much. The original Professor Chaos. Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you as always. This is something that I don't think they realize, that Hillary Clinton is going to run for president. She is running for president, ladies and gentlemen. She is running for president. And all of this will become very clear, crystal clear when the Golden Moo elevates. It's gonna be like, oh, you'll see like the Golden Moo and the Firefly stance, and every liberal publication will be like, oh my God, it's Hillary. Oh, worship Hillary. Oh, she's running again. Oh. The Moo will radiate golden rays of goodness and inspiration. All of this is to the wingless angel, exactly. All of this is to pave the way and make everything morally relative. They are not, the Democratic Party, when they go after Trump, they're not going after principle. Because if they cared about working with Russia, they would indict Madam Cyberhack for purchasing the Steele dossier with help from Russian sources. All of this is purely 100% purely for the attainment of political influence and power. That's it. When the Supreme Court, if the Supreme Court is given the impeachment argument, and the Supreme Court is given, well, and we'll play, you'll listen to the lovely sound of Elizabeth Warren. When the Supreme Court is given the argument that he obstructed justice in an unlawful investigation, An investigation that shouldn't even have taken place to begin with. But let's just assume that it was above board, which it wasn't. When the Supreme Court is given the justification for impeachment, they're going to laugh. It's a conservative Supreme Court to begin with. But even a liberal Supreme Court, they're not going to, it's not high crimes and misdemeanors. It's not, you are not talking about a corrupt individual. President Trump is not corrupt. Hillary, Madam Cyberhack Clinton, both Clintons are. There's a big difference between Bill and Hillary and Trump. Bill and Hillary are worth hundreds of millions, and they've been in politics their whole lives. Trump is worth hundreds of millions or billions, and he's been in business. He hasn't been in politics. There's a difference. You can dislike Trump, and you can say that, oh, you know, he went bankrupt. So what? Those are the rules of the game. You can go bankrupt and then rebuild a new business. And no one says you can't do that. So the difference between both of them is that two are political creatures and political animals. Madam Cyberhack is a political creature, as is Bernie Sanders, who was cheated and then basically said, thank you for cheating me. Let me help you promote the myth that said the Russians informed the country that I was cheated, which is a cowardly act. But when they go to the Supreme Court and they say, well, there are 10 instances where he obstructed justice, the Supreme Court is going to ask, someone like Kavanaugh is going to ask, hey, well, did that prevent you from obtaining anything specific? Well, we could have gotten something associated with something. Was there anything specific that President Trump hid from you? No. Did he engage in criminal activity? No. How do you know he obstructed justice? Well, Michael Cohen said so, and James Comey said so, and he fired James Comey, and so what? Andrew McCabe under oath stated that nothing has changed. The investigation will stay the same. Everything's fine. They're going to just continue without Comey. And anyway, Comey had the Inspector General report stated that Comey should have been let go even under President Obama's tenure. He was insubordinate and he broke protocol. And now Loretta Lynch is calling James Comey a liar. Why? I guess how many people are now turning on Comey? You have Loretta Lynch, you have Rod Rosenstein, you have John O'Brien, you have Andrew McCabe. That's 4 people. But let's read this right now. President Trump has said that if the House were to impeach him, despite him not having committed high crimes and misdemeanors, he might seek a review of such an unconstitutional act in the Supreme Court. Could you imagine how amazing? I don't usually say this because it sounds funny, but how delicious it would be. How utterly beautiful and epic it would be if they go if they impeach Trump and they are struck down by the Supreme Court. It would be the most monumental political blunder of all time. It would be absolutely amazing. Could you imagine that? I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. And it would be it would actually surpass Clinton's loss. What would take place is it would surpass Clinton's loss as the most monumental. I mean, could you imagine? Just think about this, though. Think about the grandiose nature. So they impeach Trump after finding he didn't commit any crimes, but because they think he obstructed their unlawful probe with a bunch of nonsense, they impeach him. And then they add on, oh, he said bad things and he's a really horrible person. Then Trump takes it to the Supreme Court and it's overruled 5-4. Oh my God. I mean, how amazing would that be? And then they'll just limp into 2020. Clinton is running again. That's obvious. But let's listen to this. Is one of the reasons why the Supreme Court would strike down any impeachment.
Then they'll just limp into 2020.
Sorry.
Why?
Oh Lord. Okay, sorry. That's me. Okay, so. All right. Okay, hold on. Okay. So okay. Elizabeth Warren.
A little while ago, the majority leader stood on this floor to speak about the investigation into the 2016 presidential election. He triumphantly declared, case closed, case closed. Wishing won't make it so.
Actually, you're the one who is wishing. The case is closed, and the Supreme Court might strike down any impeachment attempt. But let's continue. And I can't believe how Warren got clowned. She got clowned recently so hard. I'm not going to get into it, but it's pretty crazy from the left.
I read the Mueller report. I read it cover to cover.
I read it cover to cover also, and it's a rehash of the ODNI and DHS reports. We learned absolutely nothing. And it's basically a rehash of two intel reports that James Clapper stated did not have any evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. They should never have started the Mueller probe. I explained that in my Federalist articles below. And I also explained that in Debunking the Trump-Russia Myth, that's on Amazon. That's below. Mike Kensington, hello. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike Kensington. Thank you. So definitely check that out. But there was no evidence. Let's continue. A Steele dossier purchased by Clinton. Are you kidding?
Every page. I read late into the evening on the.
In fact, let's look at what the Steele dossier says. The Steele dossier says right here, I'll read it to you. Let's see. Further, the evidence was not sufficient to charge that any member of the Trump campaign conspired with representatives of the Russian government to interfere in the 2016 election. Robert Mueller. Different from with Clinton, there is evidence of potential violations of legal statutes, but we just didn't. No reasonable prosecutor would indict it. Well, how do you know what a reasonable prosecutor? You mean somebody who's a Democrat? Unbelievable. The evidence was not sufficient to support criminal charges. The evidence was not sufficient to charge any campaign official as an unregistered agent of the Russian government. The materials was not sufficient to charge criminal campaign finance violation. This is what the Mueller report says. There was no evidence to charge any. There was the evidence to charge Clinton, but no reasonable prosecutor, according to Comey. Meanwhile, Joe DeGeneva, Victoria Tenzing, reasonable prosecutors everywhere are saying, well, why didn't Clinton get charged? Because it was a cover-up.
The day it was released and into the next morning. Now, I didn't start reading by expecting to make a statement about it, but I was shaken.
Really? Really? Really, Senator? You were shaken to your core and you had no intention. You had no intention of speaking in the Senate about why you should impeach Trump based on the Mueller report. So not only do they not find any evidence, they then plan C, D, and E is, well, the report makes Trump really look bad, so we're going to impeach him on a horribly written report about him.
By the evidence that the special counsel had gathered.
There was no evidence. That's why they didn't charge him or anyone in the campaign with collusion or even obstruction. There was no evidence.
And by the conclusions that he drew. The majority leader would have us believe that scrutinizing this evidence is a
you should look up what evidence means. There's nothing factual there other than there's just opinions. And there's he said, she said regarding the obstruction issue, and there's no evidence of collusion. Everything, this is all a document. See, the DNC emails showed actual criminal and foul play. And that's why Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign in disgrace. This is a compilation. It's called basically the Clinton report. Just like the Steele dossier was the Clinton dossier against Trump, this is a Clinton report. This is a DNC report. They would have you believe that a team of attorneys, they were so above board. They weren't they certainly weren't biased. Yeah, right. They were very biased. Victorian Greyjoy. Yes, I saw that. I was actually very impressed. I thought that he would not, but he did. It's pretty unbelievable. And then she was like, "Oh my God, I'm not going to get into it." Everybody has to watch that.
It's a matter of Democrats, quote, refusing to make peace with the American people's choice. He wants to portray this as just a, quote, outrage industrial complex, because some people don't like that President Trump won. And again, wishing won't make it so. Sure.
He doesn't have to wish, Senator. It's already done. Your political party is afraid to impeach Trump, and they're afraid, and they're going to at the same time. If they don't impeach Trump, first of all, Pelosi is actually right about this. I have to. The soulful sounds of Elizabeth Warren. If they don't impeach Trump, their party is going to implode. They have to, because the left is out for blood. The left wants retribution. They've been scorned by the Democratic Party so often that they don't have any policies. They're not fighting for any policies. They're not fighting for Medicare for all. That's a carrot that they're just dangling in front of progressive voters. They have zero intention. How do we know? They have zero intention of passing or voting on, because they're not even voting on it. They have a Democratic Party controlled House. And voters on the left, it's unbelievable. Voters on the left are so easily manipulated. They're not even, all they do is spend their time on Twitter moralizing. Well, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh this, oh yeah, oh yeah. You give it to them, AOC, yeah, oh yeah. And then they're like, they don't ask the question, well, gee, why is there no abolish ICE? I thought you were going to abolish ICE. Hello? What happened to the $15 federal minimum wage bill? What happened to the Medicare for all bill? People are losing their lives. Oh, that's right. It's June 1st. It is June 1st. They've had the House for basically the whole year. And they've done nothing. And they're not going to vote on Medicare for all bill. And it'll be the same thing. Well, you know what? Hillary's open to it. At least she's open to it. It's like, you could have voted on a bill if it's so feasible. AOC, YouTube pundits, people are losing their lives. Democrats are not going to vote on it because they just want to use it to deceive voters. That's it. That's it.
There's plenty to be outraged about in the special counsel's report.
No, there isn't. And the Supreme Court would strike you down. I mean, the Supreme Court would be Dikembe Mutombo, and you would be like a middle schooler trying to lay up the basketball. It would be just, you would get blocked, prevented. You would be so humiliated. You would be so humiliated. You would be even more mortified from trying to impeach Trump and then getting just, completely prevented from doing so. It would be fantastic, actually. I hope that just for enjoyment, because I'm voting for Trump in 2020. I want him to win, obviously, but just for enjoyment, I want them to impeach Trump. That will expedite the complete obliteration of a very insidious political party. If they impeach Trump and then Hillary Clinton runs, which she will, and then the Supreme Court prevents it from taking place, oh my God. And then how would they would probably try to, who knows how they would spin it? They would spin it, but it would be so fantastic. But the Supreme Court is not going to allow any, there's no evidence to impeach. He didn't do anything. He didn't engage in any criminal acts. That is not obstruction. Oh, well, we have 400 federal prosecutors. Good. Find 400 Republican prosecutors. I'm sure you can find them in a country of 320 million, and they'll disagree. I mean, what's this stuff? It's like this is like a middle school, like sophomoric, childish. We have 1,000 prosecutors. Well, we have 1,001 Republican prosecutors, or Trump voters, I should say.
But no one here is pitching a fit that Democrats didn't win the election. No.
Yeah, they are. Even you said that Bernie was cheated, Senator. Even you said Bernie was cheated. So, exactly. Pelosi knows the cheat. Pelosi doesn't want to impeach. The smartest people in the room there, they're not very smart, but the people who know what's going on, they know impeachment is like, a complete, it's a road to failure. It's a one-way street to failure. They know that. They know it's a one-way street to failure, but you have people who are demanding it. So, I mean, what have you given? If you're a Democrat, what have you given your political party? What have you given them other than complete failure? Even winning the House, it kind of exposes how inept they are. All they care about is like tweeting. They don't care about anything else. So, but let's continue.
What's at stake here is the Constitution of the United States of America.
The Constitution? The Constitution says the president is in charge of the executive branch. He could have fired Mueller if he wanted to. Like, where in the Constitution does it say you can purchase a Steele dossier and investigate the president based on it from Clinton?
Will Congress do its job and fulfill its constitutional duty to serve as a check on the president? The answer from the majority leader and his Republican colleagues is no. Case closed.
So do it. We're waiting. It's like the scene from Caddyshack. We're waiting.
Case closed. They cry. Instead of reading the words of the special counsel's report, they just want to circle the wagons around this president. Instead of protecting the Constitution, they want to protect the president.
No, we're protecting the Constitution from you. You let unelected officials start a 2-year investigation into the executive branch by the executive branch with Mueller, who was a partisan. The fact that they say, well, he's a Republican. So what? There are Republicans who hate Trump more than Democrats. He was President Obama's FBI director. Yellow cake uranium was shipped out of the country while he was there. That's according to the New York Times. So it's like, what are they getting at? They keep on bringing up the Constitution. The Supreme Court is going to strike you down. The Supreme Court will not allow an impeachment. Alan Dershowitz has stated this, and this is really interesting. That's just today. They keep on saying the rule of law and the Constitution. It's actually the opposite. To protect the Constitution and the rule of law, Clinton will eventually be indicted because she committed crimes. She was let off the hook. Her crimes were covered up by very corrupt intelligence officials. These intelligence officials are not only corrupt, they fall under the executive branch. President Trump didn't commit a crime. They fabricated and set up and framed him and everyone around him. This is contrary to the Constitution. They trampled upon people's Bill of Rights. We have a constitution to protect us from James Comey and Clapper and Brennan and all these people. Can't just utilize a Steele dossier purchased by Trump's political rival to start. We had a peaceful transition of power from Washington till President Obama. That ended. Gregory Cooper. Hi there, Elizabeth. What are you doing tonight? What you wearing? Oh, how you doing? Just calling to say hello. Talk to you later. Bye. Gregory Cooper. No, it's like President Trump. He calls. Hi, Mr. President. How are you? I'm just in my underoos. I know that's too much information. Trying to say hello. Inga Justa Vanderhelm. Hello. Hope all is well. Okay, let's do this.
This is a huge difference. At its core, in the Constitution, is the principle that no one is above the law.
What law did he break? What law did he break? And if indeed he broke the law, why didn't Robert Mueller say so? He can't hide behind two insignificant memos. Well, you know, we couldn't charge Trump. Then what were you doing the whole time? You wasted 2 years of American history just to write a report that made Trump really look bad in your eyes? What were you doing the whole time? You mean to tell me if he had emails with Vladimir Putin congratulating Putin, yeah, you know, yay, we got everything we wanted, they'll never find out, that you wouldn't have charged him? Yeah, right. You found nothing because you fabricated everything. And now you're talking about the rule of law. It's the opposite. Everything they say, the opposite is the truth.
Not even the President of the United States.
Oh.
My oath of office.
When you lose again, Democrats, in 2020 with Madam Cyberhack running as your leader, as your Democratic nominee, when you lose again, only then will perhaps you'll learn, but probably not. But it'll be fun. It'll be amazing to witness the meltdown, the epic meltdown.
Is the same as Mitch McConnell's. I swore and he swore to uphold the Constitution.
Oh, stop talking about the Constitution. If you did, you would actually side with Trump.
Of the United States. Our Constitution is built on the principle of separation of powers, precisely to prevent a dictator, an autocrat, from taking control of our government.
He won the presidency. You investigated him before he even won, based on information that was purchased by his political rivals. Then you failed at that like you failed at the election. Now you're going to fail at impeachment. The definition of failure is a picture of the Democratic Party logo.
This separation of powers is part of the brilliance of our Constitution, and it has served us well for centuries. Yes, I took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, and so did everybody in the Senate and the House, including the majority leader. And now, against the president. That is wrong. He and his colleagues have moved to protect the president instead of defending the Constitution. Maybe my
Can you say the word Constitution 10, 20, 30 more times, Senator? We just need to hear that. We need to hear it about 57,000 more times, because you're the ones who rely on Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, and Brennan, the most corrupt individuals, many of the most corrupt individuals in U.S. history.
Colleagues on the other side of the aisle are confused, or maybe they just didn't read the report. Well, I did, and there were some passages that stuck out to me. Since the majority leader has pronounced his judgment here on the Senate floor, I'd like to spend some time reminding him of exactly what this report said. So let's start with this one.
Oh, she's bringing the report up. Yay! Let's do this.
Robert Mueller's report makes clear that the president took steps to impede the Mueller investigation.
No, it doesn't.
And that his report, though it does not charge the president.
And why doesn't it charge the president? Because there was no evidence of obstruction or collusion. No collusion, no collusion, no collusion, no collusion. Ferdinand Thomas. Impeachment addicts or corrupt politicians. Both. Thank you, Ferdinand. All right, let's continue.
Did not exonerate him from wrongdoing.
Guess what, Senator? I can accuse you of money laundering, and if there's no evidence, you don't need to be exonerated. That's the way logic works. That's the way our legal system works. Sorry.
According to Mueller, quote.
Yeah, that's the operative phrase. According to Mueller's team of Democrats who gave money to Clinton and President Obama and the Democratic Party, about $50,000 total.
On May 17th, 2017, the acting attorney general for the Russia investigation appointed a special counsel to conduct the investigation and related matters. The president reacted to news that a special counsel had been appointed by telling advisors that it was, quote, the end of his presidency, close quote.
How do you know this? Where is the tape of this? You might as well say President Trump reacted to this by saying, I'm going to have to take a Space Force One shuttle to Mars to speak to my fellow Martians who brought me to this world to help take over the planet as president of the United States of America. And end quote. It's like, who cares what these fabricated quotes say? You have no evidence he said this. You have no evidence he said any of this.
And demanding that Sessions resign. Sessions submitted his resignation, but the president ultimately did not accept it.
Okay, so then what's the problem? Job for 9. Love the live shows. Thank you, Job for 9. Thank you. Thank you.
The president told aides that the special counsel had conflicts of interest.
Oh, no, he did? Well, first of all, I don't even know if he told aides, staffers this. And secondly, the special counsel does have conflict of interest. The team is full of only Democrats, not one Trump voter. Gee, that's really fair. One attorney even worked on a Clinton Foundation case. 5 of them gave $50,000 total. 2 of them were given the Steele dossier before the election. Tell us more. Of course there were conflicts of interest. Robert Mueller wanted to work with Trump.
And suggested that the special counsel therefore could not serve.
No.
The president's advisors told him the asserted conflicts were meritless and had already been considered by the Department of Justice.
Were meritless? Really? Can you point to which attorney of the president said they were meritless? And so what if the Department of Justice thought overlooked them? Who cares? The Department of Justice was run by Jeff Sessions, who was under investigation by Andrew McCabe, who recused himself from humanity. So what? These people fall back on the authority of the government unless it's President Trump or William Barr or a Republican Supreme Court. Then the government should have no authority. They don't care about. See, what's even they're very dangerous. They're very, very dangerous in that they love state power, but only if the part of government sides with them. If government doesn't side with them, it's a big problem.
On June 14th, 2017, the media reported that the special counsel's office was investigating whether the president had obstructed justice. Press reports called this, quote, a major turning point, close quote.
Close quote, open quote. Who cares? The media was in on this from the beginning. Who cares? Who cares?
In the investigation. While Comey had told the president he was not under investigation, following Comey's firing, the president now was under investigation.
Based on what? Why would you be under investigation? Because you let your FBI director go, which was your right as president. The Constitution says that the executive, the president, can fire anyone in the executive branch. Are you kidding me? They found nothing. They fabricated everything. And at the end of the day, they say, well, you know what? In the investigation that we spent 2 years, wasted 2 years of U.S. history, where we said every single day, finally, we're going to connect this dot and that dot. And there was nothing. You found nothing. It was a complete nothing burger. There was no there. There was no there because the there was planted by the Steele dossier and everything else related to Clinton, CrowdStrike, and outsourced by Democrats. At the end of the day, you found nothing. So now you're investigating Trump for letting Comey go when the IG report says that he was insubordinate. So where in the Constitution does it say that you can't terminate Comey's employment? This is hilarious.
The president reacted to this news with a series of tweets criticizing the Department of Justice.
So what? Hillary Clinton called it a security review, not a criminal probe. Actually, Loretta Lynch called it a matter. According to Comey, that's obstruction based on this logic.
And the special counsel's investigation.
Oh, and also Clinton deleted, 30,000 plus emails and gave servers that were completely wiped clean with BleachBit. So there you go.
On June 17th, 2017, the president called McGahn, who is White House counsel, at home and directed him to call the acting attorney general and say that the special counsel had conflicts of interest and must be removed.
The special counsel did have conflicts of interest. They should have been fired, and they should have had, if you want to make it fair, an equal number of Trump voters and Democrats. How is this always implicit bias, explicit bias? They're always talking about bias. The left is always talking about bias and hidden motives. But when it comes to Trump, you can have Peter Strzok saying, we will stop Trump. Oh, that's just political chatter. Lord, I don't want to back up files. Okay. That's just political chatter.
That ends the quote from the Mueller report. Now, according to McGahn, the president was extremely insistent.
According to McGahn, who cares? There's no evidence of anything. It's just he said, she said. Who cares? And nothing happened anyway. Should have fired Mueller and declassified everything right then and there.
Calling him repeatedly and not taking no for an answer. Here's what McGahn told the special counsel.
Oh, what did McGahn tell the special counsel? What did Michael Cohen tell the special counsel? What did James Comey tell the special counsel? What did Jeff Sessions' staffer tell the special counsel? Give us all the hearsay and gossip. We really want to know, because that's not obstruction. Try again. Gregory Cooper! I can relax knowing HA is on the job. Keep at it, man. You give me hope, not hopium. Just the facts, man. Just the facts. Thanks for everything. Gregory Cooper, thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words, Gregory. Thank you. Lynn Bruno, thank you. Todd, aloha from Hawaii. Where Republicans are rare species. Well, I'm in California, so somewhat rare in California. But thank you, Todd. Aloha. Thank you. Aloha, Todd. Thank you. Thank you. Let's listen to Warren.
Back to the Mueller report. Quote.
A quote. Oh, my goodness. The pride. I'm so proud of the end quote, end quote. My God. And I quote. Yeah, big deal. So what?
On Saturday, June 17th, 2017, the president called McGahn.
No.
And told him to have the special counsel removed.
OMG. Did that happen? No. So there was no obstruction. Even if it did happen, it wouldn't have been obstruction.
McGahn was at home and the president was at Camp David. In interviews with his office, McGahn recalled that the president called him at home twice, and on both occasions.
I thought, isn't there something called attorney-client privilege? I guess Democrats erased that for Republicans also.
Directed him to call Rosenstein and say that Mueller had conflicts that precluded him from serving.
Mueller did have conflicts. He was FBI director when the uranium deal went down and yellow cake uranium was shipped out of the country. I explained in debunking the Trump-Russia myth. Mueller did have conflicts. Job for 9. Where was this woman where Bernie was? Exactly. Well, she was nowhere to be found. She was nowhere to be found. Absolutely nowhere to be found. But let's continue.
As special counsel. On the first call, McGahn recalled that the president said something like, quote, "You got to do this."
He said something like that. Impeach right now. And in the impeachment, you could say he said something like this. No.
You got to call Rod. McGahn said that he told the president he would see what he could do.
Democrats, after the DNC emails, said, you know what? The truth about us is equivalent to gossip about them. So the actual truth about us, we'll just sweep under the rug. Then what we'll do, since this is a world of, emails being disclosed, we'll completely fabricate everything. The media will go with it, and it'll seem like, these great revelations. At the end of the day, it'll just be gossip and hearsay, not pristine documents like the DNC and campaign emails were.
McGahn was perturbed by the call and did not intend to act on the request. He and other advisors.
So the Supreme Court would laugh at this. They would laugh at this. Jomo Boxing! Thank you. Thank you, Jomo Boxing. Thank you. Big fight tonight. Andy Ruiz versus let's see, Anthony Joshua. Big fight. I hope Ruiz wins. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. That would be absolutely amazing. Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. That's just amazing. That would be amazing if he won, but we'll see. I hope he wins. That would be absolutely amazing. Okay. Let's continue. Oh, Lord.
Asserted conflicts were, quote, silly, close quote, and not real, close quote. And best, he and other advisors believe the asserted conflicts were, quote, silly, close quote, and not real.
Okay, so there are conflicts of interest. They weren't silly. Joe DeGeneva, Victoria Tenzing, Tom Fitton, Paul Sperry, Dan Bongino, all of these people, these are prosecutors, these are lawyers. They don't think that the conflicts of interest are silly. You can't have a team of people that once included Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, in addition to people that actually gave $50,000 plus in donations to Democrats, Obama, and Clinton, on a team that's investigating Trump. All of these people couldn't stand Trump. They hated Trump. So, of course, there's a conflict of interest there. The whole thing was started by Comey's leaked memos. They were illegally leaked. So, how does that even work? Chuck Grassley actually states, look, I had to read them in a skiff. Tina Bobina! I'm behind the idea of marching in D.C. with Rolling Thunder if the Dems try to impeach our president, probably taking a bus or train from Fort Lauderdale. Great. Tina Bobina. Thank you. Job for 9. Thank you, Job for 9. Tina Bobina, thank you. So, it's just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. So let's continue.
Close quote. And they had previously communicated that view to the president. McGahn.
Okay, this is basically, oh, well, even his lawyers agree with us, but you don't know the full communication between his lawyers and Trump. You know only certain conversations. This didn't happen with Clinton. Everyone around Clinton was given immunity. And it's really unbelievable how this is a monumental failure. This is a monumental failure for them, but they don't see it. Dances reluctantly. Let's get rid of these losers in our one truth at a time. Absolutely. Dances reluctantly. I agree. Thank you, Dances reluctantly. Thank you, Tina Bobina.
And had also made clear to the president that the White House counsel's office should not be involved in any effort to press the issue of conflicts. McGahn was concerned about having any role in asking the acting attorney general to fire the special counsel.
Nobody was fired. No collusion evidence was found. The obstruction is based on hearsay and gossip. Go ahead and impeach, and you will get blocked by the Supreme Court. That's it. Job for 9. Thank you. Thank you, Job for 9. Thank you. Just do it. They keep, the bark. If the bark's worse than their bite. So everyone was saying, oh, yeah, the Supreme Court won't help Trump. It's like Alan Dershowitz says, our non-lawyer president may be closer to the truth than his lawyer critics. In fact, the Lawfare blog noted that the Trump suggestion of resorting to the Supreme Court to appeal impeachment did not come out of nowhere. Alan Dershowitz recently made an argument along the same lines, writing an essay, The Case Against Impeaching Trump, that were a president to announce that he refused to accept the actions of the Senate in voting for his removal, and that he would not leave office unless the Supreme Court affirmed his removal, the people might well agree with him. Well, the Senate would never remove the president. It's a Republican Senate. They wouldn't remove President Trump. That would be the absolute end of the Republican Party. And for what? But what would be very interesting is if he got the Supreme Court to weigh in on impeachment from the House. If the House were to impeach for a non-crime, the president's lawyers could make a motion to the Chief Justice to dismiss the case, right? Because it was a non-crime. I mean, it's not high crimes and misdemeanors. Lynn Bruno, Sidney Powell, Mueller upends the rule of law. That's right. Yeah, that was sent to me recently as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Jomo Boxing. She make you cringe every time she speaks. I'm going for Ruiz as well. Jomo Boxing. Yeah, Ruiz has really fast hands, and he could there could be an upset. I'm not predicting anything. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if there was an upset. I'll just leave it at that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I think we're going to call it a lot. DM, wishing does not make you. OMG, Orange Man, good. Thank you, DM. DM, thank you. Thank you, DM. And we'll go 10 more minutes and then we'll call it. No one should criticize the president for raising the possibility of Supreme Court review. The Supreme Court would issue the most stunning rebuke of the Democratic Party. It would be so amazing. It would be so amazing because they would impeach him on something that they view to be a crime, which isn't a crime. Possible obstruction had things taken place is not obstruction. And then even if those things took place, he's not deleting emails. Clinton did. He's not giving servers that were wiped clean. Clinton did. It's just unbelievable.
Because he had grown up in the Reagan era and wanted to be more like Judge Robert Bork and not, quote, Saturday Night Massacre Bork. McGahn considered the president's request to be an inflection point, and he wanted to hit the brakes.
Even then, first of all, you didn't have Don McCann explain his quote. So let's continue. This is ridiculous.
That ends the quote from the Mueller report.
The Mueller report also is not gospel. Half of it is he said, she said stuff. Very, very little of it is actual fact.
Starting again. Quote from the Mueller report.
And I quote.
When the president called McGahn a second time to follow up on the order to call the Department of Justice, McGahn recalled that the president was more direct, saying something like, call Rod, tell Rod that Mueller has conflicts and can't be the special counsel.
So what? He does have conflicts. If the tables were turned, would you allow only Republicans to investigate Clinton and a special counsel? Only Republicans, or only Trump voters, I should say, because Republicans gravitate towards Democrats, not the other way around. You'll see establishment Democrats and Republicans both say, yeah, Trump was really mean. But what if it was only Trump voters? Anyway, of course there were conflicts of interest. That's why Peter Strzok was kicked out of the Mueller team. Ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts below to my super chat. Thank you so very, very, very much. We reached 500 people with no notifications, so I want to thank you. I'll be back later tonight, and definitely look out for the live stream this evening. Thank you, everyone. To my super chat, thank you. I will see you very, very soon. Thank you.